Welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. I apologize for the lack of an episode yesterday, but my health prohibited me from recording, so I hope it's okay that you had to skip a day. I should have more than enough content on the channel currently for that to be fine, hopefully. But for now, we are back in the game, and we are going to look for the missing defaced sisters. So one of them went to the Forsaken Mound, which is all the way down there. The second one went to the Sepulchre of... Sepulchre? Nah, not sure. Or Sepulchre. Of Forgotten Heroes, which is there. And the third one went to the City of Hollow Eyes, which is up there. Now, I think we'll go in that specific order. So let's head on southwards towards this... Okay, we have a random encounter.
Stand with me.
Ah. Okay. Was a bit unexpected. Okay, now let's get back on the path. Too much of interest here, but some masterwork items. Here we go, leave. It's a collapsed passage here, but we'll just leave that alone for now. This road might end up in the Tours of the Lebanese, or Tours of Lebanese. Yeah, it does, so let's just turn around. To go that way, I think. Yep. Now, let's fight this random encounter as well. I expected his undead Cyclopes, or maybe a primal spider matriarch. Let's do a cloud kill.
Who will prevail?
Now, something that I just need to check real quick. Cloud kill does poison. Lindsay, can you do delay poison communal, please? Thank you. Was there anyone else? No, there wasn't. $45 out of 100 on my achievement progress. Linorm's grave.
A rest would be welcome. Yeah,
probably should do that. Can we make any other interesting... Cheese crostata. That looks interesting. But we're going into combat fight or combat situation, so... Let's make some sweet pancakes.
I admit, when I set off on this expedition, I was sure of gaining new discoveries I could write about in my works, and new sensations capable of reducing bleaching. I'll say nothing about discoveries, but I have had quite a few new sensations. Too bad they're predominantly unpleasant.
Sounds a bit sour when he speaks about bleaching. I don't associate it with whatever is happening to the gnomes, but rather with actual bleaching. Oh well. Sent to the Forsaken Mound. The tomb, built within the hollowed rocks by ancient cyclopes, was safely hidden from casual searchers. The path to it was skillfully concealed by lush vegetation. If we hadn't known exactly where to look, we would have just passed it by, never even suspecting it was there. The entrance was covered with a huge stone slab that seemed to merge with the stone wall, but disheveled bushes and torn ivy shoots implied that it had been recently moved. We said the word given to us by the defaced sister. Keheb means darkness. It's an ancient forgotten word from an ancient forgotten language, like a time-bleached bone from some unknown beast out in the wilderness. After speaking the word, the stone slab smoothly and almost soundlessly moved aside, opening the entrance to the damp, musty darkness. To avoid being trapped inside, we propped the door open with a large stone, which proved a smart decision. As soon as we stepped inside, the door shuddered and tried to close behind us, but the stone kept it in place. Behind the door was a spacious corridor, obviously built for creatures much larger than humans. The air smelled damp, and the stone walls, decorated with bas-reliefs and carvings, were completely covered with a disgusting, oily mold. We carefully examined the mold on the walls. Failed. Sometimes the fungus in a dungeon proves more dangerous than any monster. So many adventurers suffocated on poisonous spores, got burned, or were disintegrated on the spot just because they never thought to open a botany textbook. Alas, we couldn't detect whether this specimen was dangerous. Our only choice was to rely on luck. We carefully searched the corridor for traps. Succeeded. Tombs and traps always come as a pair, like pen and ink, or barbarians and rage, or officials and bribes. This tomb was no exception. Sure, there weren't any pressure plates on the floor or bundles of stones waiting to fall on our heads, but under the layer of mold was a hidden magic sign, the kind we shouldn't look at. Having finished our search, we checked the corridor for magic. Hidden beneath the layer of mold on the wall, something shone bright through magical vision, radiating a strong necromancy aura. It was almost certainly a magical trap, one of those signs you shouldn't look at. Taking that into account, we tried to clean off the mold. We tried to clean the mold off the walls. We carefully scraped the mold from the walls. It didn't mind. It was one of those completely harmless kinds of mold. Nothing like some of the poisonous, acidic, or gods know what else moldy species you sometimes find. Beneath the mold, we found text carved into the wall, in distinct, clearly visible letters from some unknown language. Of course, we stayed well away from the patch we found that was hiding a magic symbol. Having finished our work, we read the inscription. Succeeded. Despite the mold, the carvings on the stone walls were well preserved. The text said, "Animal has 2 eyes. Man has 1. Deity has none, for lives in darkness. Darkness contains all answers, opens all doors, finishes all paths." Such jolly fellows, these ancient cyclopes. Now we moved ahead down the corridor. A huge sarcophagus was placed in the middle of the burial chamber, its lid lying on the floor nearby. Inside was a gigantic skeleton. Its skull stared hollowly, with its single huge eye socket, and its bony fingers were clenched around a small brass incense burner that also looked like a one-eyed skull. Near the sarcophagus was the slim figure of a woman wrapped in a grey cloak. She wasn't breathing, and it didn't take much looking to discover her cause of death. The Cyclopes had left a nasty surprise for anyone who dared come to rob their graves. Near the skeleton's head was a magical symbol of death, carved directly into the sarcophagus' surface. It must have killed the sister the instant she opened the lid. Luckily for us, it was a single-use trap. We examined the body of the sister. Failed. When we removed the cloth from the dead woman's face, it sent a chill down our spines. She literally had no face. Instead, there was a rough grey surface, looking something like a roughly made clay mask. 2 holes instead of eyes, a hole instead of a nose, a crack instead of a mouth. Power could have done that to her. She had nothing of interest on her, so we took the incense burner and left the tomb, which had also become the burial chamber for the very person we had been searching for. I wonder if I could have avoided that. Oh well. We get a Cyclops incense burner. We have a kingdom thing going on, but it's quite a way off to the kingdom, I think. I think we could have the kingdom over here, but... oh well. I could save scum to try to get better rolls, but I don't think that will be any fun. Let's live with the consequences. More random enemies.
We will prevail.
Sounded like skeletons.
They go down!
Well, it weren't very successful. Masterwork longswords. And off we go. Moving on. Now, somehow I suspect that that road does not lead down to the overgrown cavern, but rather just in the mountains there. Let me just quickly check the map, just that I have an idea of this. Yeah, no, it doesn't. We have to continue to the towards the west here if we want to get back down to the kingdom. We'll have to go this way to get back down to the kingdom. It's the 20th. Yeah, we have to go back down to the kingdom. It's the 29th. If that is a problem, we are going to have problems. Pun intended.
A rest would be welcome.
I'm sure it would, but you're just going to have to suffer through it. Okay. So Ragongar was successful at solving that problem. Our soldiers chased the wolves straight back to their lairs. They destroyed all the beasts as well as their leader, a bloodthirsty warg. His skin now hangs on a banner inspiring the soldiers with courage and pride. +5 military. Oh. That's bad when it's the 29th. Opportunity. This one takes 10 days. Plus three relations. That's definitely. How long will the journey back to the capital take? 1 day and 2 hours. Wish I had a calendar. I don't know if it's 31 or 30 days in the month. Let's camp and use rations for this specific sleep so that we don't. And let's remove her from hunting. There we go.
Cyclopes. Oh, great empire, great power, so many lives, now all gone, and all that remains are tombs and graves. Oh, I see the hand of Grotus in this.
They must have been weaklings, so they all died out. If you want to survive, you must fight, no matter what.
Eventually, I think we'll get some building or spell or something so that we can manage the kingdom from outside, but Yeah. Hope we reach the kingdom in time. I hope it's 31 days. Thankfully it is. Let's try to avoid this one, even though I shouldn't. Ah, perfect. Well, I'll pause the recording here because I have something important that I need to take care of. So, sorry about that, but you won't notice anything anyways, so it's fine. There we go. Okay, let's enter the throne room so that we can deal with this visitor Harim doesn't want us to deal with. Guessing it's someone that has something to do with Torag. Harim appears in the doorway, loudly shouting down the corridor and trying to block a visitor's way. However, they don't budge, and finally the priest is pushed backwards into the room, shouting all the while, "Away! Go away, I'm telling you. The Baron isn't seeing anyone. He's busy and isn't here." Forgive me, respected Harim, but I must speak to the Baron. A young dwarf limps into the room. She doesn't look well. Her face is bruised, her armor crumpled, and her arm is dressed with rags, brown from dried blood. Nevertheless, she begins with a ceremonious bow. "Your Grace, my name is Rodrin of the Shege clan, and I've come to beg your help. My kin are in grave." Harim interrupts her with indignation. "How do you know my name?" "I was told of you by our leader, the revered Jarmold, Torag's paladin. He's hoping to meet you in person. He has so many questions for you. A dwarf who rejected Torag became a priest of Grotus and now sits in an important position at the court of a baron. Such tales are rare." Harim's face is exploding with red and white spots. He furiously grabs his beard. "Torag's paladin? And he wants you to talk to me? What impudence, what shameless, brazen... Although..." Harim turns to you. "You know, perhaps we should help them. I want to see this paladin with my own eyes and the trap he walked his congregation into." "So what is this trouble you've gotten yourselves into?" "Many ages ago, our ancestors, together with the other clans, built a road here, and a chain of fortresses along it. Unfortunately, they were forced to leave these lands. But now that you've established order here, we have decided to return, to rekindle our clan's legacy. We found the entrance to the adamantine shield fortress, but when we tried to enter..." Rodrin winces and touches her bandaged arm. "When our ancestors left, they charmed the gate of the fortress and locked it with a key, which has long been kept safe by our clan as a relic. We brought it with us, but when we inserted it into the lock and turned, something incredible happened. The gate fell to ashes, and we saw that the lock was upon the chest of a huge golem, which attacked us immediately." Harim snorts. "I'm sure the creator of this golem prayed devoutly to Torag while he made it, never thinking for a moment that this piece of iron might someday turn on his own. How dwarvish." "We managed to hide upon a hill, but we'd backed ourselves into a trap. The golem just stood below, waiting for us to come down. 2 of us sacrificed their lives, distracting it to give me a chance to escape and find help. Please save them. You are our only hope." Wow, I think you're a spy. Guards hang her. Yikes. "All right, I'll help you." "Thank you, Your Grace. The Shege clan owes you. Here's a map. It shows where to find the fortress. Lost Dwarven fortress has been revealed." Harim fiddles with his beard pensively. "I would ask you, if you go to help them, take me with you. I know it's folly to gloat, but I would see with my own eyes our proud guests from the 5 Kings Mountains caught in such a mess, and then send them home with my own tongue. I hope you will allow me this small pleasure." "Your Grace, I must warn you, this is no ordinary golem. He's made of adamantine. He's almost impossible to destroy, even with magical weapons. But if you wear it out for long enough in battle, it will collapse for a while to restore its strength. At that moment, you'll need to pull the key from its chest. If I know anything about mechanics, that should switch it off. And if you don't? Arim's gloomy question hovers unanswered in the silence. That sounds like fun. This might be a timed one. I think we should go do that before we go back to the barnhold thing. These don't seem to be timed at the moment. The question, of course, being where is it, but... it's the 31st, let's skip day. Problem ergot triumph. Tristian's decision to impose government control over the grain reserves made it possible to avoid famine. The people are praising the Baron and his wise and decisive advisor. +5 loyalty. Wandering monsters. Our hunters, under the wise guidance of Ekon, drove the monsters from the region and order has been restored. +3 stability. Valerie, on the other hand, failed to make an enticing offer about the fair and the artisan decided to leave the stolen lands. Oh well. Not always be successful, I suppose. Let's head on out. Hope this dwarf thing isn't in the far west. That would be rather annoying. Do I need this? Probably not. Let's leave and bring our usual party. Okay, so where is this? The Lost Dwarven Fortress is up here. Okay, so it isn't that bad. Let's head on upwards in that direction. Golem sounds like a difficult battle, though. Fey Glade. New events. Take care of the Fey. Is that the thing we've had in our... Indeed it is. Ah, we can do that at the same time. That's perfect. Here we are. Hope this isn't a too big place. Okay. There's a dead dwarf. And there is the golem. And there's the dwarves. Well, you shouldn't praise us before we've actually defeated it, but don't expect us to have too much of a problem with that.
You deserved it.
Adamantine, or adamantine, I believe that has some weapon, no, some damage resistance, probably DR10. Just stick with the Flaming Earthbreaker. Don't think an old cold iron would do much good here. That one's nice though, since it is corrosive.
Any last wishes?
Wait. Jubilost haste, please.
amateurs!
Okay. The golem freezes. Inside it, something vibrates in harmony, and the dents left by your weapons quickly repair. Harim approaches the metal monster and examines it from head to toe. An invincible idol made of indestructible metal. Another proof of our empty pride. Every master wishes to create something that will outlive them. But why? So that their creation will live on a short while before returning to dust with the rest of the universe? Ha! Masters. Masters. Harim pulls the key. To his surprise, the whole lock comes out of the golem's body along with the key. As Harim stands amazed, the monster falls to pieces, as if it were made not of the strongest metal in the world, but of rotten wood. Oh wow. Adamantine with your bare hands? You're a beast? Spill it. When did you get so strong? Have you been lifting weights at night instead of praying? Hail to Baron Caledorn. How did it... Oh, guess they knew because of the dwarf who came to us. One of the dwarves, clearly their leader, a grey-haired man with a massive symbol of Torag around his neck, jumps down from the hillock, or alternatively walks down the staircase, where the dwarves climbed to escape the golem. He looks at Harim and what he's done, astounded. How? How did you do it? That's impossible. Impossible. I don't know. I don't. Harim, you've broken metal with your bare hands before. What? When did that happen, Caledorn? Ah, wait. Are you talking about the anvil? Yes, I did do that. But why? I asked Grotus what it meant, but received no answer. Harim pensively wraps his beard around his finger. Who are you? The dwarf turns to you and bows ceremoniously. Forgive me, Your Grace. The surprise made me lose all my manners. My name is Jarmold Shege, Paladin of Torag and the leader of this group. On behalf of our whole clan, I thank you for your help. By the way, it's kind of funny that they've used the name Shege, because in Norwegian, the word for beard is skjegg. Ekin bows to the paladin. May the Father of Creation never leave you. May he bless you, my son. And you must be Harim, the priest of Grotus. I've heard a lot about you and the unusual path you've taken. I would like to speak with you. You would like... Well, I wouldn't like to even see you. We have nothing to discuss. This is just what I need to listen to another sermon about Torag's greatness. The paladin replies to Harim's indignation with a humble bow. I am not so arrogant as to preach to a priest. Your faith is your choice. I'm not one to question it. I only wanted to know more about your spiritual journey. In response, Harim only sniffs with contempt. Anyway, are you safe now? Yes, Your Grace. May Torag bless the soil you walk upon. You saved us. The Shege clan is in your debt. Alas, we have no treasure to reward you for your kind aid, but that is only temporary. Believe me. When we find a way inside the fortress and recover the legacy of our ancestors, you'll see that no one can accuse the Shege clan of stinginess. Ah, typical gratitude for Dwarven clans. Just so you know, Caledorn, when they say they're in irredeemable debt, it really means they're never just never going to pay. Harim sneers bitterly. Look at them, Caledorn. Here they are, true children of Torag. Greedy, conceited, unable to see beyond their own noses. They barely escape death. And there they are, diving into its maw again, blinded by the glitter of imaginary treasures. I contemplated making them leave, but Let us allow them to stay and continue what they are doing. If they are in such a hurry to dig their own graves, let us not interfere. Thank you. I see you've no love for your people or our god. No, don't be so quick to frown. I've no wish to preach to you. But I believe you said you broke the unbreakable with your bare hands. Please tell me about this. I think I have an idea of what power lies within you. The searing palm. Harim's voice sounds dull and lifeless. The magic anvil in the desolate bronze shield fortress, desecrated by trolls. It was destroyed by my fist, as if it were made of sand, or wood that had rotten from within, and only waited to be touched to fall to dust. Jarmold pensively holds his hand upon Torag's hammer, which hangs about its neck. Could it be? Jarmold, what are you talking about? What power hides inside Harim? The touch of the Unmaker. This is a rare, very rare gift of the gods. It happens once in a generation. I can't say who grants it. Perhaps Torag, perhaps Grotus, or perhaps it comes from some other source we know nothing about. It is the power to give death to things which live on beyond their proper time. Ill things, created with a flaw, like this golem. Desecrated like the anvil. The robust creations of dwarven hands that beg for death must continue to exist. A dwarf blessed by the touch of the Unmaker can put an end to their suffering. Nonsense, I've never heard of this. If Grotus granted me this power, why do I have to find about it from some paladin of a traitor god? A god of helplessness and cowardice. A gift of the gods. By Grotus, you prove it, or you admit that you're lying. Jarmold listens calmly to the stream of insults raining down on him from Harim. When the latter has finally spent his breath, the paladin replies quietly, "Yes, I can prove it." Harim, his words make sense. Maybe what you thought was Torag's curse was actually a gift from the gods, which your kin simply couldn't understand. Harim winces as if all of his teeth started aching at once, but then nods reluctantly. It is possible. But then Torag and his followers are even more stupid and blind than I thought. Just imagine, Caledorn, if this is true. The reason for my woe is not a curse, but the simple fact that none of my kin was wise enough to recognize a divine gift. The priest shakes his head and looks at the paladin. You said you can prove your words, Jarmold. I challenge you, now. The touch of the Unmaker is not only the power to destroy, he can take the heart from an item, all the love and effort put into it by its maker, by the mercy of Torag. Strike the golem once more, complete the unmaking, and show us its heart. Harim looks gloomily at the quiet golem, then shrugs and smashes it with his fist. The golem falls to fragments with a pitiful clink. Leaning down to search through the pieces, Harim takes hold of a shimmering blue jewel. He examines it, then turns to you. The priest's face is sad and baffled. There. A gift from Torag, be he damned. So, what's next? What do I do with it now? If it's a gift from Torag, then give it to his servant. Harim hands the jewel to Jarmold. Thank you for telling me of my gift, Jarmold, but do not expect it will reconcile me with Torag or with my people. If you find a way to make good use of it, fine. If not, it doesn't matter. You can keep looking for the entrance or go back to your mountains. I care not. Jarmold lowers his head. Thank you, Harim. I will make good use of his gift. I am sorry that everything turned out the way that it did, but I respect your decision and won't try to convince you. Farewell. Harim turns to you. Gifts from the gods, curses from the gods. Started to think it's the same thing. Thank you for coming here with me. I probably wouldn't even have talked to this Jarmold on my own. But now I have much to contemplate. Let us go, Caledorn. Let's leave these Shegger to do as they will. That was interesting. Maybe Harim will turn back to Torag after all, and not be such a gloomy fellow. Anyways, I think that this is a good time to end the episode. In the next one we will go to the Fey Glade and get rid of that quest, and then we'll go back to the sisters. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all next time.